Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm here to rant and complain and just talk a lot of, you know, let's get into it. Today, we're going to be talking about dating men in 2024 or in the future if you're here from the future because I'm sure we haven't made much progression. And just why it's so hard, the crazy stuff I've been through has been said to me and all that. I want to talk because I know, like, thank God for community, thank God for women, TikTok, social media, because I swear, like, you get around other women, whether it's like really socially or on social media, and you realize we all don't have one original experience. Like, oh, that happened to you too? Like, oh. I blame TikTok 100% for the rise of a long distance base. Because what is that, y'all? I've been single for a year, and in this past year, I've had two long distance bays. Okay? One in Texas and one in Nevada. And I live in California. What am I doing? I blame TikTok. I blame TikTok. I swear to God, TikTok is like the new dating app, y'all. Like, I what's funny is I actually literally found my last ex from TikTok. Well, I didn't find him, he found me, but like he happened to be local, only like 30 minutes away. That was a rare occasion. Tell me if you're on TikTok, you be getting follows from East Coast dudes, Southern dudes. Like, I feel like rarely do I get someone who's like close, or if they are in Cali, like it's just, you know, I was out last night and I was literally talking with this girl and I was just like, what is it about out of state men and selling the dream that just makes you so like, they're not like other guys? Can anyone else relate to this, y'all? I had a long distance bae in Texas and I really thought that was about to be my man. Like, raise your hand if you've ever had a long distance bae that you've actually ended up going on a date with. Because my hand will not be raised. My hand will not be raised at all. Like, how many people like myself? Well, first, I'm a homebody. I don't really leave the house, so maybe that's like a little bit of my problem. But I just feel like the guys in my area aren't it. Like, I really haven't dated a guy from like exactly my city, maybe my county, but like my exact city since I was like in high school. I'm always finding myself with someone out the mix, and of course these out of state guys are just extra out the mix, and like they just it just seems like, oh my god, such a connection. Like, wait, you want to talk to me even though we're this many times away and we have a time different? Like, I feel like they just love bomb you so hard. Like, they really be making you fall in love with them. Not literally. I didn't love any of them, but y'all know what I mean. And while we're on the topic of those long distance bays, can we also talk about dating older men? I, I've never been someone, like, I know a lot of girls like that, and I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with liking that, but I feel like there is certain there's a range we shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? If you're 19, you know what I'm saying? Like, why does someone 31 want you? Like, just because it's legal doesn't make it okay. I've literally always dated someone like exactly my age. Like, my first boyfriend, we were a month apart, and then my two serious relationships, we were like 3 months apart. I'm Scorpio, they're Virgos. You get the vibes. But I remember in like October, I talked to this guy, a long distance bae, and he was 5 years older than me, and I was just like, this is crazy. Like, I've never really aspired to be with someone older because I kind of feel like a man is a man. Age doesn't always determine maturity. There's younger, mature men who are more mature than other men. Some men never change. Like, I don't know. At least I want to believe that. And it was just so strange because I feel like we connected like so well despite being literally so different. Like, I'm from Cali, I'm a PWI black girl. PWI has been my whole life. And then he was from Texas, always grew up around other black people. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And he was 5 years older than me. He was like, before you'll have a heart attack, he was ex-military, not in the military. I don't know if I could ever date a military man. Like, I live like close to a base, and I just feel like a lot of them are weird. I've never actually talked to one, but just the stories I've been hearing, I don't know. What you gonna be doing when you're out of the country for 8 months? Like, it was just crazy. Like, he already experienced living with a partner. He had all these stories from being in the military. He had like this nice job post military, and I'm like here part time. My long term relationships were a year, which I know is pretty long for someone like under 21. But it's just crazy. Like, wow, you live so much more life than me. And also, this was a guy who had like a techie job. And I don't know if it was like a tech, like because of the tech, or if it was just because he's older than me. Even though it's not like grandpa, y'all. Like, he was 20, I was 25, and my sister's 25. And like, it doesn't seem like we're 5 years apart. Like, me and my sister talk about everything. We kiki and stuff. So, but I remember like, maybe it was the tech job. He used to type just like text, like so proper, like sections, and like I used to just be like, okay, grandpa. Like, boy, where are your emojis at? Listen, loosen up. You know what I'm saying? You talking about, oh, that's another thing that I kind of felt was weird when you when you talk to someone older, because I remember sometimes he would just be like, oh, like you'll feel different at this age, or like when you're my age, something like that. And it would just feel like, this feels so strange. Like, someone I'm trying to date is being is being like, when you're at my age, or I went through that. I was like, that's so strange because I've never experienced that because I've already been with someone my age. But okay. Like, I don't know, y'all. Let me know how your experience is with dating different ages, and I mean appropriate ages. Okay? Appropriate ages. Honestly, I feel like as a 21-year-old, the youngest I would date is 2 years younger than me, and the oldest I would date, I don't know. I feel like above, if they're like above like 5 years than me, I'm like, what really can we talk about? Because like, boy, you might be trying to start a family, and I'm trying to start up this bank account. You know. But I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I feel like it just all depends. But in conclusion, those long distance bays. Two times. The Texas dude and the Nevada dude. Oh, like, how are we gonna meet? I'ma fly out to see you, blah blah blah. Right before that happens, something comes up. All of a sudden, I'm so tired, y'all. Like, if you're tall, black, and fine, and you live in SoCal, you can follow my Instagram linked in my bio. Okay. Vulnerability. I feel like vulnerability with men in this day and age, is like so hard. And it's not always entirely their fault, where it is their fault to progress and get better than what the world has taught them. But I think it's hard for a lot of men because they're not taught to be vulnerable. And so, like, when girls are vulnerable or other people are, they don't know what to do with it. Or when other men are. Hence why you see, like, a guy posting something very vulnerable, and one of the number one people bullying them is other men being like, that's gay, bro, or blah, blah, blah. Like, are we serious right now? A couple weeks ago, I posted a TikTok, and I am a victim of SA. My last relationship was emotionally and sexually abusive, and I'm being more open with that post a year. I'm realizing like it's nothing, like, the more and more I get older and like you find community, it's like it's not even this big thing. Like, I'm not saying that we should normalize it, but it's like you never know how many people can relate or have been through the same thing. Like, people go through trauma. So like, you know, so I've been more open about it on my platform. As you know, if you subscribe to me or you follow me on TikTok. So I made a TikTok touching on that. Why did the first comment I got, y'all, first one from a man who was my mutual, but not someone I've ever met in real life, was like, were you essayed, or were you guys just in love with poor communication? Ha. Nigga, you thought you ate that? Wait, fuck you.
You bitch.
I was literally so I was literally so appalled, like, oh my god, this is a thanks that I get for being vulnerable. Like, boy, who are you? And so I literally, like I said, because he's my mutual, I DM'd him, and I was like, why did you comment that? Do you not see how that's extremely like disregarding of someone opening up about their truth. Why is your first intention to question me? And you don't even know me or my ex or anything about the relationship. And I'm having the vulnerability to share this on my platform as a woman, and your first response is to question me. You like, it's not like he was his friend or something. Boy, you don't even know him, but you kind of know me. And he immediately backed down and was like, no, you're so right. Like, I'll delete it. I just commented that because I have this guy, I had this friend who was wrongfully accused. And like, when you posted that, I just automatically thought of him and how it's not fair when it's. And when no one that back calling me splurge, drop me jump right off the curb. Make this friend feel like a bird. Boy, I don't know your friend. Who are these are two different situations, and that's the problem. Well, your friend's story has nothing to do with me at all. Like at all. And like that just gave me the ick for men, and I wasn't even trying to date him. It's just like, what are we doing, y'all? Like, what are we actually doing? And like I said, that was an incident that happened with a guy I wasn't trying to date, but also just in my past relationships and in talking stages. I feel like vulnerability, like I said, again and again, is so hard because a lot of boys like don't know what to do with it. Like, I was literally talking about it with this girl last night, how like I've heard from like, I think at least two people I've dated, when I cry, they be like, I don't understand why you always cry. Like, I feel like you're crying. Like, they think I'm crying. First of all, I'm a water sign, ho. So let's stop right there. But I'm like, first of all, like, they think I'm crying as a tactic, which I understand some psychopaths do, but it's not just women. And I'm like, I would literally be like, I'm crying because my feelings are hurt. Boy, I don't cry on cue. Like, what are you talking about? I feel like being punished or like shamed for having emotions is something I dealt with so much, like even growing up, because I feel like my mom was very emotionally unavailable. And so I would just hear stuff like that from people who are even more sensitive than me. But let's not even clack that right now. And so I feel like hearing it in relationships is like extra triggering. Like, boy, what is it with boys always saying they haven't cried in 17 years? Boy, I know you lying. What you mean you haven't cried since your grandma passed away when you were 6? Boy, don't tell me you haven't cried in 17 years. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like, they swear, or they either just like block it out. Like, I remember one ex literally told me that, like, yeah, I don't think I've cried since I got like this really bad whooping since I was like 8. And we were like 18 at the time. And I was like, what? But then later, when they talk, when they tell you their whole life story about the love of their life ex that they still ain't over, it's not funny. But we've all been there.
I'm smiling, but it ain't funny. I'm smiling, but it ain't funny.
I remember he was like, yeah, honestly, I was crying when she broke up. Okay, so that was a year ago. So what happened to you saying you haven't cried since you were 8 and you got the whooping of your life? Like, which one? Which one is it? And you know, another thing that I've heard from men, both the guys I was in long-term relationships, they both were like, they always like, it's so weird. Like, they think it's like a competition. They're always like, I'm gonna just tell you one thing. I'll never cry in front of a girl. I'll never cry in front of a girl. Like, I didn't want to, or I never did it. And I just like, I remember especially one was just really like would always repeat that. Like, okay, whoa, you holding your emotions until you act crazy. Like, whoa, boy, what are you telling me this for? And guess what? Every boy I've ever dated has cried in front of me. It's a Scorpio. What can I say? And before y'all start being like, what'd you do to make him cry? No. It was just crying. And guess what I did every single time? I hugged them. I comforted them. I validated their feelings. I told them it's okay. Blah 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 blah. Um, and yeah. So I think it's Men's Mental Health Month right now, if I'm not mistaken. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to cry. Like I said, I completely understand why men don't, because society literally treats them like shit for having emotions. But I feel like that's on them. Like literally crying is a normal thing. If I have a son, I'm gonna teach him it's okay to cry. Like it's okay to let the like it's literally a release. And I know a lot of men are scared of it because they're scared of being perceived, but the right person, people aren't gonna perceive you in that way. I literally love when men cry, and I remember one time someone was like, "You evil." When I said that, not like that, but I just love knowing like, oh, I made this person feel safe enough to be vulnerable because I feel like that's really hard for them, you know? So it's okay, y'all. It's okay. So boys know that they cry and they're super emotional. Oh my god, that's one thing I hate hearing boys say when they're like, "Girls are so emotional. Girls are so emotional." Just because girls aren't, emotions is more than just sad, right? Just because girls cry and they show their anger and they show their like a lot of times we're able to show every emotion. It's just like, what do you mean girls are so emotional? So um you literally punching a hole in the wall because of a video game, that's not being emotional? Baby, that looks very emotional to me. It's just like, let's clock that immediately. Immediately. Cause what are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? I don't know, y'all. The dating scene is just, you date someone close, everybody knows them, you date a long distance bae, they gas you up for a month and then they leave. Um yeah. Anyways, guys, I was just here to talk my ish for a second. Comment if you can relate to any of these experiences. Let me know in the comments down below. I really appreciate it. Okay, let me stop. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it and love to have you here. I talk a whole lot. I've only been on YouTube for 5 months and I got lots of story times, lots of healing videos, lots of this. So go check some of my other videos out. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.